What's the difference between a neutrino detector and a dark matter detector? The results are out. Scientists now say with 95% certainty that the fourth neutrino does not exist. Yes, one of the favored dark matter candidates, the sterile neutrino, is nowhere to be found. So does this mean that we can close this chapter on dark matter? Well, SpaceCat Edge Effect asked me if I could explain the difference between dark matter detectors and neutrino detectors, and I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to do so. So let's talk about it. Neutrinos are some of the most abundant particles in our universe, yet they are incredibly hard to study. They don't interact very much with anything. Just like with dark matter, countless of these particles are passing through us all the time. Now, the standard model of particle physics predicts that there should be 3 different types or flavors of neutrinos: the electron neutrino, the muon neutrino, and the tau neutrino. If you saw one of my previous videos, I talked about solar neutrino oscillation, where in the 1960s, scientists made an experiment to count the number of electron neutrinos from the sun. But they found that there was much less than what they expected from theoretical models. 1/3 was missing. But in 2001, with a new experiment, this was solved. The total number of neutrinos, so electron, muon, and tau neutrinos, was consistent with the expected number of electron neutrinos from the sun. The sun only creates electron neutrinos, so this means that the electron neutrinos must have morphed into muon and tau neutrinos by the time that they arrived to Earth. Now, this can only happen if neutrinos have mass, which means that the original standard model had to be changed. In the original standard model, neutrinos were assumed to be massless, and in which case, oscillations would be impossible. This won the scientists the Nobel Prize at the time, but there was still an outstanding problem: the short baseline problem. For decades, the experiments observed that neutrinos changing flavors or oscillating over distances that were too short to be explained by the standard model. Now, one solution for this unexpected behavior would be the existence of a fourth, heavier type of neutrino, the sterile neutrino, named because it would only interact via gravity and not the weak force, making it almost impossible to detect directly. Now, the MicroBooNE experiment in the USA has strongly ruled out the most popular explanation for the anomaly, the hypothesis of a single sterile neutrino. MicroBooNE sits just under 500 meters from a neutrino source at Fermilab. That's what we call a short baseline experiment. The source is very close to the detector. The detector is 10 by 3 by 2 meters in size and filled with 85 tons of liquid argon. When a neutrino interacts with an argon nucleus, it can produce charged particles, so things like electrons, muons, protons and pions. These charged particles ionize the argon along their track, but the charged particles will leave a different signature to what electrons would leave. Sterile neutrinos predict extra electrons specifically, and MicroBooNE was finally able to tell them apart. What did they find? They did not find an excess of electrons, so no sterile neutrinos. Now, since the sterile neutrino was a leading candidate for warm dark matter, this is a major result because it means more focus will now be put on alternative dark matter candidates like the WIMP, for which I talked about in my previous video. But does that now make all neutrino detectors irrelevant? China has only just launched their JUNO neutrino experiment a few months ago. So the answer is of course not, and the reason is simply down to the design of the experiments. As I mentioned, MicroBooNE is a short baseline experiment. The distance between the source and the detector is just 500 meters. Now, China's JUNO experiment is a medium baseline experiment. Their detector is a whopping 53 kilometers from the nuclear power plant sources it uses for its main neutrino sources. These power plants produce a huge flux of antineutrinos almost consistently. The detector is a 35.4 meter sphere containing 20,000 tons of linear alkylbenzene liquid. This is also liquid scintillator. It gives off light during neutrino interactions. The difference in the detector mediums is purely due to the task at hand. In JUNO, it's optimized for high light yield. It produces a lot of light to enable the measurement of energy spectra of these interactions. And it supports big target mass, so it's great for counting many low energy neutrinos. Whereas the liquid argon in MicroBooNE is optimized for track-by-track resolution, which allows for fine 3D reconstruction of any event. Now, both neutrinos and many leading dark matter candidates, such as WIMPs, interact only via the weak force, or sometimes even less than that, which means that they barely interact at all with ordinary matter. Because their signals are so rare, these two fields often share similar experimental strategies. To avoid being flooded by cosmic ray backgrounds, many of these detectors are built deep underground. So they're usually built in mines or specially excavated caverns, using the overlying rock as shielding. However, not all of detectors will follow this rule. For example, JUNO sits 700 meters underground to detect very rare reactor antineutrinos with extremely low background. But MicroBooNE, on the other hand, operates at the surface level, and this is because it needs to remain close to the accelerator neutrino beam source. In both types of experiments, extraordinary effort goes into making detectors from ultra-pure, low radioactivity materials, so natural radioactivity doesn't mimic the signal. And in both, the basic idea is the same: detect that tiny recoil of energy deposit left behind when an invisible particle collides with an atomic nucleus or electron. Now for the differences. Neutrino detectors are optimized for events caused by the weak force, which produce higher energy signatures like light, charge, and heat. And for this reason, they typically focus on events from mega electron volts all the way up to giga electron volt scales. Neutrino detector medium is therefore generally liquid scintillator, water Cherenkov, or liquid argon. Whereas dark matter detectors are in the search for very slow, cold, dark matter particles to fill our galaxy, which may only impart tiny amounts of energy when they scatter, typically on the kilo electron volt or lower scale. To detect such faint nudges, the experiments they rely on use liquid noble gases like xenon or argon. They might also use cryogenic bolometers that measure minuscule heat or phonon signals. Now, the biggest challenge facing the next generation of highly sensitive dark matter detectors is the neutrino fog, or neutrino floor, as they call it. As dark matter detectors become sensitive enough to see the extremely rare and weak interactions of WIMPs, they'll also become sensitive to the coherent scattering of solar neutrinos. These solar neutrino interactions create a background signal that is indistinguishable from the theoretical dark matter signal at very low energies. Once dark matter experiments cross this threshold, the solar neutrino background becomes an irreducible noise. It's going to be extremely difficult to isolate that from the true dark matter signal. Anyway, wrapping up, even though MicroBooNE is ruling out the single sterile neutrino, the experiment still has not been able to explain away the short baseline anomaly. It's worth noting, however, that even though originally sterile neutrinos could explain away these anomalies, it came with major tensions, and many other experiments also didn't see these predicted effects, like the disappearance of certain neutrinos. Since these anomalies are not consistently confirmed, simpler explanations like unaccounted for backgrounds or experimental issues still remain possible. Anyway, that is all I have time for this week. Thank you to my YouTube Perks members for supporting this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave me a like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, space cats, fly with me to the stars.